I'm going to use the shapeshifter deck to read about the recent Australian legal decision. Just clear that energy from these cards. The recent decision that has declared that a person who is born a biological man is a woman if they are transgender. Now, when I read on this, well, I'll tell you a little bit of my personal in a minute. Okay, I'll tell you about of my personal connection in a minute. Okay, let's first see what does the card want to say. Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood, very much a little girl kind of energy. The wolf behind her, and then the Baron. So pretty much, if I say I'm a girl, I am a girl, and I don't care what you think. That is how you should treat me. So now I have a transgender son, which means a child who is born as a female, who then is in the process of transitioning to male, taking male hormones. My child is 18. It's been a difficult and bumpy road for all of us, just based on the fact that we didn't see it coming. We didn't see him as masculine. He's always been very feminine, very, high heels and makeup and jewelry and that kind of thing. He has suffered some trauma, so I think part of his identity has also been to protect himself from the trauma. But you'll see that I call him he, even though he's born a female. I honour and I respect his gender identity, but I think in this particular case that we're talking about here, the legal case, there's been a confusion between gender identity and biological sex. So what the case was about was this person who calls, I'll say she because that's her preferred pronoun, calls herself Roxanne, calls herself Roxanne Tickle. She calls herself she, biological male, who is in the process, I think, of transitioning to female. I think she's taken hormones, but I don't think she's done any surgeries or anything. I might be wrong on that. And so we'll just get a general feel from the cards about this case. Fairy ring, new skills, advanced training, rapid improvements. Yeah, so things are changing in the world, the way that we define and describe women. Not too happy with the little mouse over there. The girl she's almost with the chair there. She's almost trying to ward off the mouse, and it's kind of like a three-ring circus. So what the case was all about was this a lady created this online app called Giggle, where women could go and be safe. They could look for roommates, they could talk about their periods, they could find friends. It was just a girls only space where people could connect with each other. And so now you've got this transgender woman, which is biological male, who presents as female, who identifies as female, went on the app and then was kicked off the app because her photograph showed a more masculine face, and so the person was kicked off the app. And so then the person took the founder of the app to court to say that the founder was discriminating. Frog Princess. This to me is the females going backwards, almost female empowerment going backwards. And this always reminds me of Meghan kissing Harry and turning him into a frog. So it's kind of, the world is upside down. Things are going the wrong way. So as somebody with a trans son, I absolutely value people's gender identities. I value their right to call themselves whatever they want to call themselves. But when it comes to safe spaces, I do believe that women should have the right to feel safe and be safe. And for me, this issue of, is a transgender person really a woman? Are they a real woman? Well, no, they're not a real woman. They've got a penis. They were born with a penis. Now, I'm not talking about intersex people, okay? Intersex is a very tiny minority of people, and those are people who have born with gender, no, sexual organs of both sexes. So my view is, if you were born a male and you're born with a penis and you decide you want to transition, no problem. I've got no quarrel with you, but then form your own safe spaces. Don't invade female spaces. I do not want to be in a change room with somebody who calls himself a female and has a penis. I'm sorry. No, I'm not even sorry. I don't apologize for that. I don't feel safe. And although that person might say, well, I don't feel safe in the male bathroom, maybe we need to do something different. Maybe we need to create a transgender bathroom like we've got for disabled people, as something else. But to say that that person is the same as a female is just, I think, ridiculous. I mean, pull it out in the sea. They're not a female. And so when my trans son goes to the gynecologist, because obviously he's got female reproductive organs, what they have on their gynecology form is they say gender identity, which he identifies as a male, and then biological sex, which obviously is female because he's got female reproductive organs and that's how he was born. So I don't understand what the big drama is. Why can't people just talk about biological truth? The biological truth is this Roxanne Tickle person. Yes, I'm happy to call her her. I'm happy to, use the female pronouns. But when it comes to woman-only spaces, is woman a biological fact or is woman a gender identity? And saying that somebody with a penis is not a woman, it's now the app owner is now in trouble. It's just it's so confusing. I will show you who to trust. We don't know who is who anymore. And what, for hundreds of years women have worked hard to get spaces, woman only spaces, and now we need to let biological males into those spaces. And again, I am not anti-transgender people. My son is a transgender son, okay, born female, now identifies as male. I believe that he should have the right to call himself he. That's the gender. That's how he perceives himself and how he shows himself to the world. That's what its gender is more subjective, okay? Whereas sex, biological sex, is determined, my view, by chromosomes and sexual organs. And yes, a male can have a plastic surgeon transform his penis into a vagina. That is still not going to be a female. The chromosomes are going to show you that's not a female. Or a female can have, I don't know, I don't think there've really been many successful attempts to convert the sexual organs into a penis. I don't know. I don't know how all of that works. And yes, they can take in cross-sex hormones to make themselves more masculine or more feminine. I just think the world needs to stop being so politically correct when it comes to this issue. And I saw the owner of that app. She spoke about the law is supposed to reflect reality. Well, the reality is women want to be in a space where there are other women, and I'm sorry for this Rachel Tickle or whatever her name is, that she feels that her whole life has been ruined and she's not been able to do anything for 3 years now because this ongoing fight over belonging to an app. For goodness sake, if your life is so tiny and so small, you've got bigger problems than whether or not you can be on an app. Go and find a transgender app or something like that. I don't understand. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't want to go there, but I did go there. You have been given everything you need. See, this is it. Why don't transgender people just congregate together with other transgender people? And it's not that we're bigoted or we don't want or we don't like transgender people. I love my son. I just don't agree with that you can change your biological sex, and that's a fact. The doctors will tell you that. And there's a reason why on the gynecology form, when my son goes to the gynecologist, they ask for biological sex, because it makes a difference. It makes a difference to hormone levels. It makes a difference to body parts. It's a biological fact. Snake princess. Yeah, people telling others that they can be anything they want to be. Oh, if you're a woman and you want to be a man, that's fine, you can be. If you're a man and you want to be a woman, that's fine, you can be. And I've got no problem with people identifying as that. But when it comes to private personal spaces, why must one person decide for the entire group that belongs there? All those hundreds of thousands of women on that app who, have had periods and children and women-only experiences. Now, and this is the problem with trying to define somebody as something that they're not. They just not biologically female. And I'm not saying they can't be a trans woman. She's more than welcome to be a trans woman. She's more than welcome to identify as a trans woman. But she's not the same as somebody who's gone through all of that female processes. I'm sorry. It's just like I'm not the same as a man. I have not gone through those biological processes. It's got nothing to do with discrimination, and I think people are too worried about offending people and telling people no. I don't want to be, if I've joined a female only app, I don't want to see anybody on there who was born as a man. And if that makes me some kind of monster, then so be it. Why should I pretend that that's okay for me? It's not okay for me. I'm not anti-transgender people. I'm not at all. But I am anti the way that language is being co-opted to make it seem as though we're all the same when we're not. It's just the same as saying, if you've got blue eyes, you can't call yourself a brown-eyed girl, because you got blue eyes. It's a physical reality. Oh, yeah, it's just, there's a girl here making friends with a dinosaur toys. Yeah, we think the dinosaur's all sweet and cute, but if we saw a real dinosaur, we would be in trouble. I mean, I don't know what to say about this court case. It just, why can we not have the right to decide who we associate with? I don't understand. If okay, so I am originally from South Africa. So if I started an app for people who are originally from South Africa, and you decide you want to join, even though you're an American, you've never been to South Africa, or maybe you've been there on holiday, you've enjoyed it, you've been there on holiday, and you identify as South African, or you feel a kinship to people who are in South Africa, who were South Africans or are South Africans, should I have to put you onto my app because you like South Africa? No, I don't think so. You weren't born there, you didn't grow up there, you don't understand the culture, you don't speak all the languages, you don't know what South Africans have gone through. Yeah, it's just trying to say that you're a South African because you went for a visit. It's not. It's factually untrue. Oh, yeah, people trying to write their own stories, trying to create their own reality. Just because somebody doesn't want you in their group, in that particular group, doesn't mean there's something wrong with you, and it doesn't mean there's something wrong with them. I'm just going to get a card from a different deck. So, I don't know, what do you think about this? I feel like we're trying to tie ourselves up in knots. And this of course is the reason why Jordan Peterson got fired from that university in Canada, because he refused to use something like 200 different pronouns for his students, because he said that didn't reflect reality. And he said, initially he said if you gave him your preferred pronoun, if you said you wanted to be called him and you were more obviously feminine, he would try and make an effort to use the pronoun that you preferred. But then people came up with all these 200 different weird made up neo pronouns they're called, and he just said, no, I can't do that. You know, I'm telling you now, I'm not going to be able to do that. And they fired him for that. Um, anyway, what am I asking the cards? Okay, I'll ask the cards a personal question. Am I a bigot because I believe, I know there is a difference between biological sex and gender, and I feel that the difference is an important one. Am I a bigot? Moon law, ebb and flow. So, the way that we use language and the way that we describe people changes, and it ebbs and flows, and there's new language usage. And I've got no problem calling Miss Tickle Ms. I've got no problem calling her her. And I know a lot of people do. I think I'm more open-minded because I've got a transgender son. So I'm more open-minded than many. So do the cards think that I'm bigoted? Strength. Know your strength. Lioness is a personal spirit animal of mine, so I know I've definitely got my energy here. Strength. This is follow the strength of your convictions, the strength of your womanhood. And I'm not saying, just because I'm saying that I am a woman doesn't mean that I think anything less of Roxanne Trickle. I don't think anything less of her. I don't think that she is a bad person or a lesser person or anything like that. Just I can see with my own eyes and hear with my own ears that she is a transgender woman. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. This is a very, very weird read. I'm gonna what do you all think? Do you all think that we should call biological males women? And it doesn't really matter what we call people. Well, it does matter what we call people, because if we call them a woman, then what else are they allowed? Are they? I mean, in Canada, there was this series of really weird court cases where this one guy, biological male, so trans woman, claimed he was identifying as a woman, although there was no evidence of that. He didn't have any hormones. He didn't dress femininely or anything. But he would go to gynecologists, and he would select only female gynecologists, and he would go in and make them examine his masculine or his male private parts. And when the gynecologist refused to examine him, obviously because he didn't have any female private parts, then he got all cross and he filed discrimination lawsuits against them. I can't even remember what the outcome of that case was, but it was just so bizarre. Clearly sexually disturbed, deviant kind of individual who just wanted these female doctors to be touching him in inappropriate places, pretending to be transgender so that he could have gynecological, in inverted commas, examinations. Just acceptance, the cycle of life. Yes, it's important to accept people as they are, but it's also important to accept truth and fact. Okay, we're going to do the one more card and then the underlying, and then we'll close this out. Intuition, inner wisdom. What is your inner wisdom telling you? And it's a bit hard because different people have different views on this. So, rhythm, tune into the natural rhythm of life. Again, so I'm getting all about cycles and people's usage of language changing and that kind of thing. But I still come back to stand true. And I mean, I don't know, if my trans son sees this reading, he might not be very happy with what I'm saying here. He might say a trans woman is the same as a genuine woman. You see, you get yourself tied up in knots. Why can't you just use a different word for them? And it's the same with the Olympics. Why can't there be a transgender category? Then everybody's happy. Why are we pretending that people who are not biologically born as a woman is a biological woman. I don't get it. Why can't we just say trans woman and have that as a protected class? And if you create an app that's for bio woman, if you want to call it that, or cis woman, as some people call it, then why can't we be exclusive? Why can't we group together? And that's the natural rhythm of life. All these rhythm and intuition cards, that's the natural rhythm of life. We do congregate together with people who are like us. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I don't think the answer is allowing biological men to invade female only spaces. And that is only going to lead to drama and women not feeling safe and women abandoning those spaces because, you know, it's, yeah. If I have to explain it, then I can't believe we have to explain it. Why can we not choose who we hang out with? Just like if you had a Christian dating app and somebody who was Muslim came on the Christian dating app. It's not that you're anti-Muslim. It's just that you want to find people on the dating app who are similar to you in culture and belief. It's the Muslim person needs to be on the Muslim dating app. It's crazy. It's crazy that language no longer means what it used to mean. And the other thing with language is, and I'm going to do a read on language, but when all the royal reporters start calling Meghan and Harry's holidays to overseas countries, when they start calling them tours, like a royal tour, then it kind of indicates, even if they say fake royal tour, you're still giving the impression that it's a tour when it's not. And I found that even my own language, I did a reading on them and I called it a tour. And then when I listened back to it, I was horrified. I was like, no, but it's not a tour. It's just them pretending to be royal. Language matters and truth matters. I don't know. What do you guys all think? Am I crazy? Am I a lone voice in the wilderness? Or, yeah, I don't know. Life shouldn't be so complicated, and there are more important things to worry about, I think. But the concern that I have is now language doesn't mean what it used to mean. And that leads to uncertainty and unclarity. And, if my child goes into hospital for whatever reason, like an emergency, the emergency room doctors need to know that my trans son, is a biological female, because that's going to affect various tests that they do on him. It's going to affect, what his heart rate should be like, what his electrolytes should be like, what his hormone levels should be like. And if they are investigating and treating him as a biological male, then the research or the tests that they do on him might give they might misinterpret the results of any tests that they do if they're treating him as a biological male, because he is a biological female, and he's not going to be happy with me saying that, but it's the truth. He is a biological male, and oh no, he's a biological female. So confusing. What do you think? Let me know.